welcome back to the channel. We're here today with another update on the Santorini G80, which I think a couple months back we did the 2-month review of the OE factory car. We talked about things that bothered me, which a lot of people know. Drew talked about things that bothered him, and now we have half addressed those things because this is phase one, we'll call it.
Right.
I think we addressed some of the things that are the most annoying, right, that you found.
Yeah. I think it's the most annoying, but also the easiest to resolve, right? Wheels, granted, getting the right size and offsets for somebody like me is near impossible, so we leave that up to you. But choosing an appropriate set of wheels for the car is a little bit easier than some of the mechanical mods. Exhaust, not that complicated, but there are some good choices. There obviously are some bad choices. I think we chose the best. And what else did we do? Oh, we lowered it. Duh. Forgot about that because it looks like you're cruising around in a 4Runner with the stock ride height. So if you want to talk about what we did and why we did it.
Yeah, so you guys are familiar with the AST lowering springs, which we worked with AST directly to develop. Now we're kind of on phase 3. We finished the Moton development, which are just being released now out there to everybody. And now we're kind of doing something in between the coilovers and the lowering springs, which is the ALS kit, which is the adjustable lowering spring kit from AST. It's similar to the height adjustable springs that you see from other manufacturers, but these actually go a lot lower, which was the main complaint. Some V1s from some other guys really were high. If you check out the ride height here, there's actually 20 to 25 millimeter more that we can go lower. We're trying to train Drew how to drive in driveways, so we started it with a little bit higher setup.
No lessons, by the way, they just let it rip.
But these will go about 20, 25 mil higher, and once we have the final wheels on it for BMW Invasion, you guys will see how low the ALS kit will go. This is a new kit. It'll be released in, I think, a month or two, and we'll probably be selling a lot of them.
But let's be clear, the real reason we haven't lowered it all the way yet, with the ALS kit, it does settle a little bit. So we didn't want to lower it to a point where it looks the best day one and it settles and then it becomes too low.
Yeah,
we lowered it accordingly.
It's all just part of the development.
Right.
So these are technically a development set. We put it at a good point. They're progressive springs front and rear. So there is a lot of lowering that goes on, especially with a new platform, new setup. So we kept it up a little bit higher, but once they've adjusted down, which they already have, we'll bring them a little bit lower. So that'll be a part of the install process, and normally is a part of the install process for the adjustable lowering spring stuff. So this has the TD6s. Now you guys probably familiarized yourself with these wheels from the pink car. There's 2 different finishes on the car. We kind of wanted to show 1 and 2 for customer choices. We work a lot with Titan 7 on development and different things, so they sent me these, you know, just to roll with and show off the style for the car. So we went ahead and put them on this. We're waiting for some super secret wheels, which we'll have at BMW Invasion.
Very excited.
They're literally getting machined right now, and waiting on tires to come in. Phase 1, we'll kind of go through it. I already touched the suspension. It's the wheels. And then what was the last thing, Drew, that we did? I
think it was the exhaust, if I remember correctly, which I have pretty bad memory. Yeah, so we did the Akrapovic slip-on exhaust coupled with the PSI mid-pipe, and we did the active auto work downpipes with the Jezzy Cats, the high flow cats, to really, beef up the sound. We didn't really know what to expect with that combo. It turned out to be very nice. It is 0 drone on the highway. I can tell you I've driven it the speed limit for sure on the highway, and under load, not under load, M2 mode, standard mode, there is no drone whatsoever. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, so the Akrapovic, we had it on the car for SEMA, in the green car. We had the full Evolution system on, and it was a little bit quiet for me. I don't like super loud cars, so if it's quiet for me, it's probably quiet for most people. What we did to kind of make it, up the volume a little bit is we did our mid-pipe with it. Gave it just 2 notches maybe. And then when you do the downpipes definitely let horsepower through, but it also adds to some throttle response you can feel like day-to-day driving. Probably makes it maybe half a notch louder.
It's definitely louder than your car, but once again, this is a little bit harder to sell the difference because this is the automatic transmission, whereas his was the manual, so you could control the sound on yours way easier than you can control it on this one.
Yeah, but it's also, the ZF is an 8-speed, the manual's a 6-speed, so the cruising RPM and the way you drive is different. We've sold a lot of the mid-pipes to stock car customers, but we've only paired a few of them with Akrapovic or M Performance or Remus. We have really good feedback now on both transmissions and drivability, because if someone's going to complain about something, it's going to be him, and he's going to text me directly and say, wow, I don't like this.
True story.
He hasn't texted me that, so I think we're good. To me, the Akrapovic is the way to go on these. It is a little bit expensive, but it has the look. To me, the look with the tips matches the car, the best aesthetic that you want. You know, we still have a lot of customers coming in that don't want to change the muffler. They really like the way it looks, so they just do the mid-pipe. So there's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of companies out there doing exhaust.
And we haven't even tuned it yet, and we both spent enough seat time in the car, before and after the full exhaust, I guess you could call it at this point. It's a pretty noticeable difference in power. I joke that some of it could be a placebo effect, because when you have a louder car, sometimes you think it drives faster than it really is. It's pretty noticeable. I can't wait to get it back in the dyno. And
yeah, it feels like it breaks loose easier, that's for sure. 'Cause I'm really used to driving my car with the Daler unit, which is like a 90 horsepower plus unit on my car, and I've had it on there, I don't even remember. It's been a long time. So I don't even know what a stock 6-speed car feels like anymore. Now that I've driven this a lot, you know, this being an X-Drive competition with the auto, these are a rocket from the factory, and just these little mods make it even better. So that pretty much sums up phase one. So we're gonna go drive the car.
Yes.
Right? You want to drive it? We'll do some talking about that. But what do you think so far with phase one, Drew?
I think phase one's great. I'm excited for phase two. Like I said, we felt quite a bit of a power increase from a simple full exhaust system. And then once we jump into the mods with phase two, which if you want to talk about that.
So stay tuned for that. So now that we've kind of dialed in phase one, car's been aligned, we're gonna go for a drive and give you our driving feedback. Modifying cars, especially BMWs, is a pro and con type of scenario where you're gonna gain horsepower, you're gonna gain sound, but there's always a con. Like maybe the con is it adds noise and vibration into the cabin. Maybe the con is maybe the car is way too loud. To me, it's one of those things where cross the line of a day-to-day car, you cross the line into it. You know, we don't have a singular focus with this car to make it the fastest G80 that you can make it. It's not a car that we're trying to win drag races in. This is not a car that we're roll racing in. This is not, you know, we're not going to take this to FL2K. We might maybe one or two times, but it's not a single use. It's a daily driver car, and we're really trying to feature some of the best mods for most of the customers to have, and what we would recommend from a customer perspective they have on their cars. With the shop, especially with the performance mods that we do and some of the tuning that we do, my outlook on building cars is I want somebody to have something that is reliable and that they can enjoy every single day. I don't want to make a car that is going to last a week because they want to make X number of horsepower and X amount of torque. We can do it. We can always do things based upon the numbers. But when we focus on numbers only, you get rid of reliability and daily use, and to me that ruins it. That's the line. So let's talk about the suspension, Drew. I mean, you put I think 3,500 miles on stock suspension. Now that you have, I think we've put about 500-600 miles on ALS, the AST ALS kit.
Right.
I'll let you talk about it.
Okay, so I've had quite a few cars with just springs in the past versus coilovers, and I'm never that big of a fan. So I want to preface by saying that I feel like the suspension or the stability of the car is incomplete most of the time with springs. This is the first car that I've had springs. Granted, it's a different setup. It's adjustable springs, right? It feels very dynamic. It feels great. It's not bouncy. I don't feel like I've got cut suspension. It's stable. It's not annoying. Like, I'm like really impressed.
The way that the AST stuff is developed is it's obviously designed and fit on a car in Holland. It's then sent to partners around the world to test in their markets to verify that the cars are in fact the same. Because BMW and other manufacturers have told us before, oh, you know, all the cars are the same and blah, 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 and they're not the same. That gets done. That was done and confirmed. It was sent to Asia, sent to Sweden, and now it's in US. This is the second car. One of the things I pointed out when we were outside the car was the ride height in the front.
Yeah, right.
Which is a particular point with adjustable spring kits currently on the market, and how low they go. We'll be able to lower the car 20, 25 millimeters more than it currently is. Once we have the final wheels on the car, we'll make some more adjustments.
We have different wheels?
Yeah, newsflash.
like in all seriousness though, this is a fantastic option for somebody who doesn't want to spend, you know, $5,000 or $10,000 on, you know, true coilover set, or just an expensive set of suspension in general. I don't know what this retails for.
It's around the 850 number.
Yeah,
which is
great.
Comes in a little bit lower than some of the other major manufacturers. But the most important thing about an ALS kit is that it retains the factory damper adjustment, or ESC, EDC, on the BMWs. A lot of customers, it doesn't even come down to money really. Most people have a brand new car that they just ordered and that came in, and they want to use the features that comes with the car,
right,
which essentially is the adjustable dampers. So a lot of customers come in and they want to retain those. Well, the only way to retain them is you do lowering springs, which, as you know, a lot of people run the ASC lowering springs, or you do an ALS kit. And the difference in lowering spring is lowering spring, you get what you get. It lowers it 25 to 30 mil front and rear, whatever that is. It is what it is. And the reason that that's important is because a lot of customers mod a car step one, and then they come back 6-8 months later and say, hey, I want to get these wheels. I really have been looking at these wheels. I really want to get them. And they change the size. Maybe the customer wants 21s all around. Maybe the customer wants 20s all around. Aesthetically, it's hard to make wheel choice and hard to pick wheels and tires when you have no height adjustment in the suspension. So what an ALS kit does is it allows us to get rid of the wheel gap, which is the stupidest thing that bothers me the most about these cars, and it gives us the adjustment. Like, people are not adjusting their height every single week on these cars, but when they want to change the wheels later, or they get a front lip and they maybe want to raise the car later, we have that opportunity with these, which is a cool opportunity. You also have that opportunity with a full coilover setup, but this is a kind of best of both worlds because you're retaining factory dampers and you have that flexibility to change the height with any mods that you're doing. It's very versatile, which is cool, which is a really neat thing, and I think that versatility is one of the reasons that a lot of people run these kits. One thing I wanted to say is that I'm at the shop every day. If you have questions, if you just picked up a G80 and you want to call and talk to me or talk to Dan about, you know, modifications and what the recommendations are, or if you want to come by, we have our shop cars at the shop. We have these around. Come and listen to the exhaust, come and listen to the mid pipe, and figure out what you want. I mean, that's the point. We want to be that resource for you as a new owner of a car. G80s are a dream car to people, and they want to make the right decisions, and that's what we're here to do. Make recommendations. And you know, now that my green car has 23,000 miles, this has almost 4,000 miles on it. We have an M4 CSL on the way, an M2 on the way, so we're going to continually modify these cars and try to pick the best recommendations and choices for you.
Yep.
So make sure you guys hit us up. Check out the website, precisionsport.com.
If you guys have any questions on a particular car that you're looking at, or build specs, or price, market caps, your production numbers, you can give me a call. I'm here every day as well. I'm sure you can tell by these videos that we have different genres that we play in, and mine is more on the sales, production, pricing, and market cap research side. So if you got any questions on a particular car, give me a ring. I'm here to help, whether you're buying it from me or somebody else. Other than that, peace. Have a good day.